Hi friends, Shayla here from a slightly different location today. I am cozy in my bedroom, so we are doing my wrap up from my bedroom in my new reading chair. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you know that my previous reading chair kind of bit the dust. It had worn out and wasn't holding up very well, so we got me a new chair. It's a recliner, so if I move back and forth a little bit, it's not the camera moving, it's the chair. But I just wanted to be cozy and comfy. I'm like still sitting here in PJ pants and everything. It's a Sunday morning and I just want to relax and be cozy. So that's what we're gonna do today. This wrap up is a little bit insane. I've read a ton, way more than I initially thought I did. So that's what we're gonna do. We're going to start with the books and then we'll jump into the manga. If you're only here for the manga, there's your timestamp. So you can go ahead and skip ahead, but I recommend that you stick around and hang out for everything because I really had a lot of really good reads, and so I'm really excited to talk to you guys about them. So I'm going to start with the digital ones first. So the first one we've got here is Real Men Knit by Kwana Jackson. And for this one, I ended up giving it 3 stars. This was originally pitched as a romance to me, and it didn't really come across as a romance. It was more of a community story, women's fiction kind of thing. The romance is there, but I didn't feel like a romance read to me, so I think it was just improperly promoted. But in general, it's a good book. I enjoyed it. I would revisit it, but I think this star rating is just more indicative of the disappointment that I felt in the opportunity they had to take this story and make it a great romance, and they didn't. So they established a lot here, so I think in future books they will be more romance centered. So there's a good chance if they stay with this same group of people that I will continue and read more. But for right now, I can't give it more than a 3. But reminder right here up front, a 3 is not a bad rating. It's still above average. So keep that in mind. The next one we've got here is The Bari House by Carolyn Brown. I ended up giving this one 3 stars as well. With this one, I think with Carolyn Brown, I just prefer her cowboy writing. These ones where she tries to like be in the South and speak Southern and stuff, it just doesn't come across very well in the writing to me personally. Then again, I've never lived in the South, so I'm not speaking from experience here. But in general, just that whole... I feel like it's almost too cliche as I read it. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. But the story she's still trying to tell is really solid, and I enjoyed it enough. But again, I think I love her Longhorn Canyon series. It's one of my all-time favorite Western romance series, and I'm there for all of it. But with these, I've tried a couple of these in like her side stories that are published by a different publisher than the ones who do her Western romances, and I just don't seem to enjoy them very much. So I don't know if it's an editing thing. I don't know what it is exactly, but all I know is that I don't enjoy them as much. So take that with a grain of salt, because that's exactly what it is. Up next here we have Summer on Honeysuckle Ridge by Debbie Mason. This is my favorite Debbie Mason I have ever read. I gave it 5 stars. I loved this. This is a start to a new series for her around this Honeysuckle Ridge area. I think that it's called Highland Hills. Don't quote me on that. But it's about this woman who basically ended up sued by her husband, and she got divorced from him, obviously, because of that. He had a company where they were doing animal testing, and she rescued a dog and protested against it, essentially. And so he ended up suing her, and that was the end of their marriage. And he was also in bed with his lawyer. So she's moved across the country because she had a great aunt who passed away, left her half of a property. So she has to share this property with this guy. And of course, he's this guy with his own traumas. He served in the war, saw things he shouldn't have seen, and is a little bit broken up in lots of ways. When he got home, his engagement ended because it was her brother that died, and some things like that. So it's just really interesting the way everything plays out. I'm not going to tell you anything else other than that because it'll get into spoiler territory. But all I'm going to say is if you like clean romances, like not super smutty romances, this is definitely going to be up your alley. This isn't a smutty one. This is just a contemporary romance. It's really sweet, really cute, Hallmark movie worthy kind of thing. But I really love it. I feel like it goes deeper than a Hallmark movie, if I'm honest, though, because Hallmark movies are pretty 2D, but this tackles a lot of deeper topics, and I think it's really well handled and really well done. And you're also dealing with a woman who, like our main female protagonist, she was also a vlogger, and so like he made her shut down her channel, like her ex-husband made her shut down her channel as part of the lawsuit, and things like that. So it's just really interesting. I really seriously enjoyed it. There's so many nuances to it. I highly recommend. Next up, we have Barbarian Alien, which is the second book in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. And I can understand why people don't love this one as much. I gave it 3 stars as well. It's much more aggressive, much more alpha male. So if that's not your thing, definitely pass on this one. But I'm really looking forward to book 3. So I'm hoping to get to that coming up here soon. We will see though. Alrighty, that is it for the digital books. Let's jump into the physical. Like I said, guys, this is wild. All right, next up we have First Kiss with a Cowboy by Sarah Richardson. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. This is a solid start to a new Western romance series. I really enjoyed our characters. It's Jane and Toby, and their dynamic together is just really good. This is definitely a second chance romance, and that's a trope I really enjoy. So I highly recommend checking it out if you like second chance romances or Western romances. This one gets fairly steamy. It's good. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend. Next up, we have Restaurant to Another World, Volume 1. This is the light novel in which we're following this restaurant that once a week gets connected to this different world that's a fantastical world with elves and all sorts of other creatures. And they come into this restaurant and experience, you know, Western and Eastern meals. So there's things like spaghetti and rice omelets. It's totally for foodies. And it's just about these creatures coming into the restaurant and experiencing things for the first time. And we also have this little half demon girl who ends up working at the restaurant and becoming a bigger part of the story. I really love it. It's so good, so well done. And I love the anime for this, so I really wanted to try the light novel. Lindsay had the first volume as well. Cal. Kaladin. Come here. What? What's wrong? Do you want out? What you want? You want out. Okay. I bet you he'll be back crying on the other side of the door in a minute. But anyhow, Restaurant to Another World, solid 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. Loved the anime. Really enjoyed the writing for the light novel. They're just done in little, like, episodic parts. And it's really well done. I do have the other 2 volumes that I plan on reading soon. But yes, loved this very much. Next up, we have Phoenix Unbound by Grace Draven. I give this 4.5 stars. This is an almost perfect fantasy romance for me. We've got angst. We've got people who have seen each other for years. And there is that kidnapping trope in it. I'm going to put that out there right away. But the way it comes across is that it's not a whole Stockholm Syndrome kind of thing. It never felt that way to me. But I can understand if someone did feel that way, I guess. So we have Jillian and Azarian, sorry. And I might have totally butchered their names. I'm really sorry. But these 2 characters, we have a girl who basically has magical powers and can camouflage herself, who is sent every year to the capital to be sacrificed for her village. But she essentially, because she has flame magic, she escapes every year. And so she continues to go and get burned every year. And Azarian is a pit fighter in the Empire, and the whole reason why these girls go there is they basically get raped by the guys at the pit, and then they're burned at the stake is what happens to the women. And so Jillian defies this basically every year. Azarian notices her because her camouflage or whatever doesn't work on him. He can see through it. And so he purposely picks her and says, you're going to help me get out of here. So he basically forces her into helping him escape and helping him take back his own kingdom, like his own lands, from his cousin who sold him into slavery, essentially. So it's not really kidnapping, but it is, because it's basically blackmail, because he says he'll tell her secret otherwise. But you guys, this book, it's so good. I seriously loved this. Thank you to Melanie over at Mel to the Any for talking so strongly about this book. It got me to pick it up, and I'm so glad that I did. I do have an ARC copy of the second book, Dragon Unleashed. That's supposed to be out in June, so I'm hoping to get to that next week after readathon week here. I'm hoping that's going to be the next thing I pick up. But I loved this. It's written so well, and it's steamy to boot. Like, highly recommend. 4.5 stars. Go get it. Next we have The Trouble with Hating You by Sajni Patel. This was sent to me by my friends at Forever, just like First Kiss with a Cowboy, but that doesn't affect my ratings of them at all. I just like to remind people that, yes, I am blessed and they sent them to me, and thank you again to Forever for always being so kind to me. In this one, we are dealing with Leah and Jay, who Leah is from an Indian family, and she has no desire to be set up in a marriage, essentially. So what happens is her parents basically set up an arranged marriage meeting anyway without her knowledge. She comes home thinking it's dinner just for them, and all of a sudden this family pulls up, and it's this guy and his mom, and she basically sneaks out because she doesn't want to deal with the situation because she feels hijacked, and this is just like her family. She has her own things that she's dealing with, culturally speaking, as well as just as a human being. And her and Jay end up literally running into each other, and, you know, he tries to play it off as nice and flirty, and she just gets, like, frustrated and mad, and she's got her own man-hate thing going on with her because of things that happened to her, and Jay just doesn't understand, and he feels like she insulted him and insulted her mom, or his mom, and that she was disrespectful to her family. Well, from there, they end up working at the same place and actually getting to know one another, and things start to change for them, and it's really cute. It's an enemies to lovers. The enemies to lovers is pretty strong in this one as well, but I really enjoyed this. I don't think it's a perfect book, and I can't speak for its representation, but I felt like you were very immersed in the culture, at least to a degree. So I will say that at least. But I would definitely look up Own Voices reviewers if you want to know how good the representation is. But it takes on a really important thing as well. That's spoilery that I won't share, but I appreciated that aspect of the book as well. So solid 4, definitely recommend. Next, we have The Night Country by Melissa Albert. This is the other buddy read that I've done so far this month with Lindsay over at Lindsay Tut. This is book 2 in the Hazelwood series, so for obvious reasons, I'm not going to say too much, but we are essentially continuing the adventures of our characters from book 1. We do learn more about the hinterland. That's all I'll say. And from there, I enjoyed this one more than I enjoyed the first book. So I will say that. I think it wraps up really nicely. I think I heard at one point this was just going to be a duology, but it's open enough that if there's another book written, I would probably pick it up. But if not, it closes well enough that I feel like I got the closure I needed. So with that said, I'm going to move on. Solid 4. Really enjoyed this. And yes, I recommend the series. I kind of want to go back and reread the first one and then this one again closer together and see if I enjoy the first book better or not. And last but not least for the books for this video, man, it's getting long. I'm long-winded, guys. Sorry. Is Beach Read by Emily Henry. I gave this a solid 4. I ended up really enjoying this. I did feel like kind of through the middle things started to lag a little bit, and I wanted to learn more about Gus. We didn't really learn too much about Gus. This is a booktube darling at the moment. There are a lot of people raving about this. But for me, it's a 4. Obviously not bad. I still really enjoyed this, and I understand why people love it. I guess I was just expecting a little more from it. I just felt like we didn't really get to know Gus at all, so part of me didn't understand her attachment to him. I don't know. But anyway, it was fun. It did have that enemies to lovers bit to it, which I tend to really enjoy. So yes, solid 4 stars. I would recommend it. Now, let's talk about manga. Let's talk about the digital things that I read, and then I will grab the physical things. Because I have binged 32 volumes of Haikyuu this week. That's right, you heard right, 32 volumes. I read volumes 7 through 38 this week. And I read them all via the Shonen Jump app, so I don't have physical ones to show you. But I have deep dived into this series during quarantine, and I will be doing a deep dive video on Haikyuu coming up here very soon. I'm just finishing up some research. Did you hear Kaladin, by the way? He's just gonna freak out. But yes, Haikyuu, I gave each volume 4 or 5 stars. I highly recommend the series with my whole heart and soul. Anime or manga, you're gonna be in good shape, because both are very well done. I have things to say about both because there are big differences between the two, but yes. Okay, I'm back. So let's dive into the physical volumes of manga that I've read so far in the month of May. And here's a Kaladin. He's just gonna freak out here for a minute. So first up, we have volume 7 of Snow White with the Red Hair. Obviously, because we're 7 volumes in, I can't tell you too much, other than this wraps up one of my favorite arcs from the anime. I love Shiroyuki and Zen so much, and this just solidifies a lot of their relationship, and I really love it so much, and it's just, it's so good. I really am attached to this series a lot. I'm actually planning on rewatching the anime soon as well, but yes, very good, highly recommend, love it. Kaladin, dude, you gotta make a decision, buddy. Come here. Come here. Crazy cat. If he cries again, I'm not going to do anything. He's in the other room now. So next up, we have the first 3 volumes of Sorry for My Familiar. I do have a dedicated video to this, so I'm not going to say too much about it here, but I will link it in the cards so you guys can go and check that out. I ended up giving each of these 3 stars. I enjoyed them well enough. I'm going to continue slowly. This is going to be a slow collect and a slow read for me, but I do enjoy it enough to continue on. Next up, we have Kaiju Girl Caramelized Volume 3. I absolutely loved this volume so much. I was like squealing as I read this. This is a really cute series about a girl who turns into a kaiju when she gets really excited because this boy likes her. And it's just really, really cute. I really, really love it. And the way things end in this volume, like, I'm dying to get my hands on volume 4, but it's gonna be a while, and yes, it's so cute. If you're looking for a cute story that does happen to have a monster girl in it who's not overly sexualized, then definitely check this series out. Next up, we have Hatsuharu Volume 11. I finally got my hands on Volume 11. I read it and loved it. I am so happy with what is happening in this series. I think we only have 2 more volumes left in this one. There's only 1 or 2 left. We're almost all wrapped up and finished. And it's just so cute. I can't even deal. There's so many good things that happened in this volume. But again, we're 11 volumes into a series. In a wrap up, I can't tell you guys all the things. So yes, once I'm done, I might do a reread where I talk about all the things that happen along the way. We will see. But all I know is if you have not tried Hatsuharu yet, definitely do. It's definitely along the lines of my love story, where you've got mainly a man's perspective, but you do get perspectives from most of the characters throughout the series. It's really well done. Next up, we have Daytime Shooting Star Volume 6. This volume proves to me that Mamoru is best boy. I love Mamoru so much, and I'm still rooting for Mamoru to win in the end. My gut says he's going to with the way things are going, but don't quote me. I thought things were going to go differently in Dream and Sun too. So if it pulls a Dream and Sun, I might be really, really sad. But again, this is volume 6 in a series in which we're following a young woman who's basically in a love triangle with one of her classmates and one of her teachers. I'm not rooting for the age gap in this one, which is atypical of me. I usually like the age gap, but Mamoru's best boy in this volume proved it to me. So yes, that's all I'm going to say. Go read Daytime Shooting Star. Next up, we have volume 4 of Blank Canvas. I cried multiple times in this volume. Akiko Higashimura has a way of telling her story that is so unique and so beautiful that everybody should be reading this. I don't care who you are. This is just about her journey, becoming a mangaka, becoming an artist at all, and the people who influenced her along the way. It's beautiful. Like, there is nothing better to me than Akiko Higashimura. And watching her journey, her calling herself out on things from her past that she wishes she could change. It's just packaged so beautifully. Like, I can't even deal. Like, it's so good. Last but not least, we probably have the oddest, yet not oddest volume of manga you'll probably see on my channel. And that is Pleasure and Corruption, Volume 1. This is basically about two teenagers who have very different fetishes who end up in a almost dom-sub style friendship. They're not really in a relationship in which they're dealing with they're the only ones who know about their fetishes. And so things start to escalate in this volume. I'm not going to tell you what the fetishes are. I do plan on doing a dedicated video to this manga, to this series, coming up soon. So expect that on the channel probably next week. Yeah, basically we're dealing with a teenage boy named Zen, and he's not doing well in school, and he's not dealing with the pressures from his parents very well. So he deals with that with his fetish. And one of his classmates, a female classmate, finds out about this particular fetish and exploits it so that she has an outlet for her fetish. And that's all I'm going to say, because I think if I say too much more in this video, like, people aren't going to know what to think of me. So like I say, I will do a dedicated video to this. This is definitely a much more mature adult style series. And yeah, it's a discussion. That's all I'll say right now, is that it's a discussion, and we will be having said discussion most likely next week. So friends, that is everything that I have read so far in the month of May, and this week you guys will be seeing vlogs while I have two readathons that are overlapping. I've got Readerama and Spring Into Manga Love that I'm doing this week. So look forward to that. I'll be doing a vlog every 2 days. So you will see vlogs, let's see, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then the final one on Monday. So you guys will see 2 days at a time for the vlog. So you'll get 4 in total for my reading this week. But yeah, that's kind of everything that I have to say right now, other than I love you guys. Welcome to the channel if you're new. I would love it if you would subscribe and click the little bell so that you know when I post new videos. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed getting to know my chair and my wild and crazy cats a little bit. And I will see you guys in the next one.